Is Nigeria actually moving from democracy to authoritarian system of government? You know that some of you may be thinking that we are even practicing democracy in Nigeria in the first place. We are not. We have never been practicing democracy. It has always been authoritarian. It has always been, dictatorship. We have never come close to democracy and the tenets of democracy. In fact, when you look at some of the governments of the world as of today that pretend to be practicing democracy, they don't. Now, let's look at this. His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi gave a New Year message to Obedients and Nigerians, and in his New Year message, he outlined the problems of Nigeria and advised the government on what to do to reduce those problems. And he went ahead to also advise the president to cut down his trips internationally in order to reduce costs, as well as send others to represent him and do more work over here in Nigeria as a result of visiting states to understand firsthand what is happening in Nigeria. But instead of the government to even take that as a soft landing criticism from one of the top political opposition, they decided to go in their usual way of attacking.
No. He is the one throwing that. Mr. Obi is shooting from the hip. He's not looking. He's not taking an aim. He just, shoots widely like, what we used to see in movies back in the day, in the Wild Wild West. He is not being rational. He's absolutely irrational in his thinking and in his public commentary for a man who was governor for 8 years, who left nothing to remember in Anambra State by way of a legacy. He would think that he can bring down the government by simply, being maliciously deceptive. That is wrong. I'm not somebody to go on that offensive in that manner. But Mr. Obi has crossed the line so many times, and I think that at this point, he has coming to him whatever he gets. He needs to manage it.
And you were all heard in our last two video where Felix, the spokesperson of APC, came out hard on Mr. Peter Obi, threatening his life, businesses, family members, as well as his associates. Now, His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi, in response to that, asked some critical question. Like, have I really crossed the line? If I do, can you point out to the line that I have crossed? And, he made, his opinion known and calling on Nigerians to be aware of the behavior of this APC administration. But the Obidient movement did not went to sleep. They have come out to, make their point known, as well as letting everyone know that this is a call for anarchy by the APC-led government. But before I read to you the statement made by the Obidient movement, let me point it out here clearly. It is not enough for the Obidient leadership to say that the police should investigate and all of that they are calling for anarchy. Oga Mokuna write petition, go give police or DS or whichever. Let this man be invited or be arrested, right? Just the way they picked up the referral to me. Let them go arrest him or even invite him, whichever, and interrogate him. Let him tell Nigerians and the whole world what he meant by the word. Whatever Peter Obi gets, he should manage it. And that he has crossed the line. Which line? Until we are able to be a good opposition in Nigeria, the ruling class will continue to trample on the freedom of the masses and continue to, break all the rules and trample on the democratic values, and they will not even deliver the dividends of democracy in the first place. As it stands, we are not even practicing democracy, but authoritarian system of government. However, here is the speech by the Obidient movement.
Okay.
According to the statement, quote, the Obidient movement condemned APC reckless threats against His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi. The Obidient movement wished to express its utmost displeasure and concern over the recent comment made by Mr. Felix Umoka, the APC National Publicity Secretary, on Arise TV on January 5th, 2025. His statement that Mr. Peter Obi has crossed the line so many times and he has what's coming to him, and whatever he gets, he should manage it, is considered a direct threat to Mr. Peter Obi's life and the peace of Nigerian states. We view this as not only an attack on Mr. Peter Obi, but also a dangerous signal of Nigeria's descent onto authoritarianism under the current administration. Such a declaration from the spokesperson of the ruling party is reckless, unbecoming, and a blatant endorsement of violence. He further went ahead to say, Mr. Peter Obi's commitment to Nigeria has been consistently demonstrated through issue-based politics, his resilient pursuit of solutions to national challenges, and his respect for democratic principles. His New Year address, which critically enveloped the state of the nation and offered practical solutions, was devoid of personal attacks, hate, or incitement. It was a message of hope and a call for decisive action to rescue Nigeria. Let me pause a bit. This decisive action to rescue Nigeria is not for him or any other person to rescue Nigeria, but those in power. And he gave them the templates. But hell no, they are bent towards going violent. Hell, let's go ahead. Who drew the line? And what line did he cross? We demand answer to critical question. Number one, what line did Mr. Peter Obi cross? Number two, who drew this so-called line and on what authority? Number three, what specific statements or action of his justifies such a dangerous threat? Number four, what exactly is coming to him? The Nigerian Constitution guarantees every citizen the right to freedom of expression and the protection of life. It is unacceptable that a government sworn to uphold this principle now seek to silence decent voice with threats. He went ahead to say, a dangerous precedent. Mr. Felix Umoka's statement confirmed what Mr. Peter Obi has reportedly pointed out, that his life, his business, and all he represents are under coordinate attacks aimed at silencing his voice and that of his supporters at large. This administration has chose repression over dialogue, intimidation over engagement, and threats over democratic discussion. We categorically state that if any harm befall Mr. Peter Obi, his family, or anyone associated with him, the Nigerian government and its agent will be held directly responsible. Nigerians and the international community must take note of this engagement pattern of repression and act to hold those in power accountable. Our reservation. The Obidient movement will not be cowered into silence. We stand firmly with Mr. Peter Obi and his version or vision for a just, equitable, and prosperous Nigeria. We call on Nigerians to resist this slide into authoritarianism by continuing to demand an accountability, justice, and the protection of democratic values. Finally, we urge the security service to not sweep such threats under the carpet as they had done in previous time, but engage Mr. Umoka to elude on his utterances. Furthermore, the ruling party to call to order their mouthpiece and member at large to desist from action that could heat up the polity. In addition, the government of the day should foster an environment of noble ideas to sharpen our national discourse and not threat. Signed, Mr. Yusuf Tanko, the Obidient movement. This was yesterday, 6th of January 2025. Wow. What do you make of this? I think to me personally, it's a nice move by the Obidient leadership, but it's not enough. Write a petition, because the Nigerian police will never act based on, cyber talking, cyber bullying. Remember all those things. They will not until you write a petition. But if it is somebody from the Obidient that sits on that seat on during the interview at Arise TV, as we speak right now, there is already a judgment on the person and should be in Kirikiri, or better still, in Kuje in Abuja. That's just the honest truth. But since he's coming from the ruling All Progressive Congress and the ruling party, they are the one in power, nothing will happen and nobody will investigate. That's a normal thing. So it is not enough for you to just release press stuff. You should just go ahead, write a petition, and expect and follow it up. Let him come out and explain himself. Let's not forget that under the president of the former president of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, there was a statement made by FFK when he talked about military intervention and all of those kind of a thing. He was drained by the DSS for days, and he was giving testimony of his drilling on X that time. So it is something that someone asked to write a petition, and that was done to him. So in the same way, a petition should be written by either His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi or the Obidient movement, and let it be followed up. Peter Obi should not be keeping quiet when issues like this come to him. When there is a threat to your life, even though you are in the opposition. But I understand that the book written by Dele Farotumi, where he said that the criminal justice system, the Nigerian criminal justice system, which caused a lot of controversy, took him to prison and all of that for that book, exposed a lot of corruption in the judicial system, which we all know already. And you know, maybe it's because of those things that they don't want to write a petition, because they also have seen by themselves with, first hand during the presidential petition tribunal, you know, with all the dramas in the courts from the tribunal down all the way to Supreme Court, where things that matter no longer matter in Nigeria. So maybe they don't want to go that route, but at least do them. Make it be say you do them. Anyway, let me have you check out the comment section. Remember, politicians don't really care about you. Let's be civil in 2025. Thank you for watching.